Hey, my name is Graham Kassar. I'm the music representative, and now you're watching RCEM. Welcome to the RCEM channel. My name is Graham Kassar. I'm a music representative for RCEM, obviously. And first of all, happy to be here. This is technically like my first video for RCEM, so hope you guys are here to vibe, have some fun. Today we're going to be breaking down the new RCEM sound, and we're basically going to go through some tips, some tricks on how to make modern sounding beats, along with how to make some nice catchy pop sounding songs. Really, if you haven't already, check out my TikTok that I dropped about it. It's like a simple explanation of how it got together. But until then, let's get into it. See you guys. All right, welcome back. So here we are in my FL Studio, my DAW, also known as the Digital Audio Workspace. This is where all the magic happens in terms of where I cook up my beats, where I make my music, things like that. So before I get into like breaking down everything, I just want to let you guys know that this is a jingle, obviously, and with a jingle, I obviously wanted to start off with something that was just prominent, something I could build around. So the first thing that I went to was the guitar from Cymatics, and basically I wanted something that kind of just gave off like a nice chill vibe. I knew going into this that I wanted like a nice, just like a summery vibe, something happy to give off for RCEM. So that was something I kind of came with. This is the guitar loop that I found. So that's basically it, really. Nothing much changed with it. The only thing that I did was EQ out some of the lows. And that's just basically to make room for all of these other instruments that I have in the back here, and also just to make sure that it's very minimalistic. I wanted it to be an instrument that was kind of the forefront, but I wanted it to have a bunch of support around it, you know? I wanted to be able to build around that, so I made sure to take away just a little bit of those lows here. Now, moving on, after I got the guitars, obviously the first thing to go was like, we need chords. So here we have our piano here. That's about it. Those are the chords for you right there, honestly. So like I said, I can show you the actual chords here that I put down in my DAW. Like I said, this is all just me playing around with stamps. So here's the cool hint. Tip number one for cooking up beats and making beats and stuff like that, especially if you're making jingles or you're in this territory that you're not so familiar with, because I'm not used to making these like very cheery, poppy, catchy beats type stuff like that. So this is definitely like first time really doing it. So what I did was basically looked at some notes and scales, did a bunch of inversions to make sure that these chords sounded like something that I actually liked, and it definitely just worked with stamps. So stamps we have is a thing that you have in FL Studio where you can, you know, use like find major sevens. That's what I used a lot in this, and kind of just it points out whatever chords you want really. So say if I want a major seventh in C, if you scroll up, it gives you that completely, and then that's a chord, but you get the idea. So that's kind of something that I use, just my little cheat, simply because I'm not that familiar with it. Then afterwards, I just kind of made my own keys from there, messed around with it, tried to find a vibe from it. Then afterwards, pressed Alt S. With all that, it came to that. Also, I did use, for anybody who knows the VSTs, I used Contact, atmospheric piano from Hybrid Keys. Very great piano if you're looking for something that's just something in the background, or even just like a really nice soft piano. Another great option for pianos, by the way, is definitely Lab soft piano. But anyway, we're getting off track. So next on the list is definitely just the choir. So the choir was something I added on as well, and this is just it really was something simple. I just took the chords that I had from the piano, went on Contact again, used the choir, and then I got to this. Obviously it didn't sound just like that. I went on gross beat because I also wanted something to just keep moving move the beat along, something like that. So went to gross beat, Transgate 3, and all it does is just mess with when the volume is regular, when the volume is present. can see these little spaces here. This is when the volume is on, and then this is when the volume is off, basically. So it gives like this stutter effect that really brings some energy into the beat as well. And for this, I put it all the way to like stereo, something in the back that just creeps its way up, and it just really helped to bring the energy. Next, we have the bass. Simple as that. I did use, this is going to be the first I guess plugin that you're going to see on this, but I used a thing called Silent, and as you can see here, it's from the BS Cut bass, and it's a very good plugin. I love Silent for all my weird basses and things like that. It's very good for synths and things like that, so definitely clutch. And yeah, so basically from those basses, I basically came together and came up with this pattern that I constructed along with it. So I think it'd be better if you heard it with well, hear it by itself and then hear it with the piano. So very simple, and then you have a little change. So like I said, it's a very simple bass. All of this is literally built around the guitar, and this is all just to support everything. Like you're hearing it very mono style, you're hearing it by itself, but once it comes together, it's like, okay, this is all part of one. It's very minimalistic in their approaches. So yeah, for the bass, nothing was really done. I just put a little bass boost on it, simply because it was a synth, but it didn't carry that much oomph that I wanted it to. So that's basically all of the melodic instruments to it. Actually, I lied, sorry. The last melodic instrument, I guess you can call it melodic, is the vocals. So this is Box. And like this, it sounds really weird by itself, really, because it's kind of off, to be honest with you. But it works in context with the rest of the beat, because I did try it out while I was listening to other segments of the beat, and nothing much I used with it really. I just used a plugin called Abstract Box, which is free, so definitely check that out. It's a really good cop to have. Has a bunch of vocal pro presets that you can use, and you can just help to sauce up your production a little bit, like it did here. And that's really it for the melodic components of the beat. Next, we have the drum breaks, and the drum break is really simple. We first have this thing that I obviously programmed into my drum sequencer. So this is a drum sequencer for FL Studios. So let me just bring this down here so you can actually see it properly. So just these here are the drums here. It sounds like this. Very simple, very minimalistic. Obviously, it's just like a quick boom cuts boom with a little like stutter at the end, just to give it a little bit of liveliness. Like I said, the whole point of this, I wanted to get like a summer vibe, liveliness from it. So you obviously want to have a little bit of sauces here, there, you know what I mean? Something to like where each instrument gets its little piece and part in this whole situation. So that was that. And on top of that, I also just added a cymatics loop. Hey there, this is Post Edit Ground. I'm just here to give you an update because something got messed up when recording and talking about the drums, at least past the point that you guys obviously just saw. But yeah, basically all I did on top of that was add a little percussion loop, a lo-fi hi-hat loop that I got from Cymatics. Just added it on to give it a different groove. You guys will definitely hear it when you hear the rest of the beat. It sounds different, you'll be able to hear it. But yep, that's that. And then towards the end, I just put like a little filter on it just to give it some changes. That's really it for the drums. So that wraps it up. I think that's it. That's literally it. Besides that, all we have is a bunch of risers, ambiance in the back. So we have like ocean sounds here, which is this, which is very low. We also have light waves here. Like I said, these are very minimalistic things that really help to get the point across of like a vibe, you know? So when you hear this, you're obviously gonna think summer things, obviously not just because of the guitar or the piano or the little sorry, that was a horrible interpretation, but you're not gonna, it's gonna be all of these things, but like, you know, the tiny things like risers was something that you hear at like festivals in the summer, or ambiance, which is something that you ambiance of like oceans and walking in the water and things like that. These things help to just paint a picture with your music. Besides that, that's basically the whole production really. The only thing I'd say is just the arrangement, and arrangement is just pretty simple. I bring it in with the chords, with the guitar and the piano, bring in extra stuff, bring the guitar out, just give it a little space to breathe, and then bring the guitar back in. It's a lot more understanding when you hear the actual song. But those are tips to basically make your own beats, your modern beats, your modern jingles from scratch, especially on a DAW like this. I hope these helped a little bit. I'm gonna cut to me in person so you actually can see me explain this stuff properly. But yeah. All right, now I also have my own little tips and advice, recommendations and stuff that I think you should follow, at least take into just think about it when you're making your own jingle or your own beats and things like that. So number one is, for sure, make music with someone else in the room, or at least with someone else on the call. So especially with things like jingles, because you're making it for someone else, so you don't know whether or not they're gonna like it, whatever you come up with in your mind. I typically make a lot more melancholic, darkish type of things, my own free time, or Caribbean things, depending on how I feel. So it's definitely great that I was able to call like the president of RCEM and be like, hey, I just need you to be here. Let me know if you like this or not, what's the vibe and stuff like that. And we were able to figure it out in one night, which rarely ever happens, but definitely be on the call with someone else, or at least have someone else in the room, so you're able to feed off ideas and get a mutual understanding of what you want. 2, definitely know what your intention is when you're going into this, when you're making the music, whatever you want. So I'm saying this in front of a jingle, like pretext, but definitely understand, what you want your company to be seen as, or what you want your club to be seen as, or what song you want to articulate. This goes for anything from jingles to actual songs to just playlisting things, whatever it is. Make sure that you have an intention behind it, so that the further you go along the project, that you're always back checking yourself and being like, does this match up with what I had in my head, or does it match up with what the other person wanted, in their head? Make sure you have that conversation, which also goes back to making sure you have someone else in the room with you, or at least on the call, or at least talk to someone beforehand. 3rd, reference tracks. Before I even delved into making this, because I personally don't make catchy pop songs, I listened to a bunch of catchy pop songs and a bunch of jingles and things like that, and these don't fit the traditional jingle because there's a lot of elements going on, but I still listened to references and things that I wanted, or at least that I wanted to articulate, so that I had an idea of how it should flow, how I should arrange things, how I should grasp things and things like that. So definitely have reference tracks, and that goes by just typing in type beats on YouTube, typing in whatever songs that you heard before that you think you would like, or artists that you like, things like that. Definitely reference those. And lastly, have fun with it. Be creative. Mess it up. Do whatever you want, You can always backtrack if you mess something up. But make sure to have fun with it and to just do wacky things. Also, just, fit it within your intention, but make sure just don't be afraid to take those risks, because those risks end up being the thing that is like the best thing about the song. You know what I mean? Like, for instance, with the choir, random. I just wanted something else. I knew there was something else that had to be there in terms of like maybe a pad or something, but like just me putting gross beat, as simple as it sounds, that wasn't the first thing on my mind. And that was just something that I learned in the process of doing that, because I experimented and it worked. So now I carry that into my other productions. So basically, endpoint, be creative, experiment, all those other points that I forgot. But thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for being here, vibing with me. It was a great time. All the YouTuber stuff. Like, comment, subscribe. We've got some crazy content coming this year for RCEM, so definitely ping in so you can learn everything from all the different types of arts, really. So yep, and if you want to hear more from me, I go by Spear Beats, so that's SPEARE Beats. That's on YouTube, SoundCloud, IG, Twitter, whatever you want to find me at. Definitely ping in there as well. But until then, see you guys later.